On today's stream, you're gonna name the best Magic the Gathering cards, and I'm gonna tell you why they're bad. We're gonna start off with Time Spiral, suggested by Argentina. This is a 6-mana sorcery. Remove Time Spiral from the game. Each player shuffles their graveyard and hand into their library, and then draws 7 cards. You untap up to 6 lands. Looks like a free, time twister, doesn't it? But there is actually a cost. It's 6 mana. You tell me a format where Time Spiral dominates. It's actually nowhere. It's not even banned anywhere. That's how poor this card is. At 6 mana, you're going to be dead in every single format. The only type of decks that this card can dominate are if your opponents are trying to win by turn 20. Do you have a play group that's trying to win by turn 20? If not, a lot of other cards can win by then. And it doesn't have to be Time Spiral. Anyway, Time Spiral is really overrated. The only thing that's good about it is it's on the reserve list. Next up, let's take a look at Voltland Armageddon. Armageddon is just a salt mine. For 4 mana, you destroy all the lands. What kind of strategy does that work in 2025? Can you name a single deck that this would dominate against? I mean, even in Commander, most of their mana is not even coming from their lands anymore. It's coming from their mana rocks. And even if there are quite a few lands, it's from like a mana ramp deck, which then that means they can ramp out of the situation. I think for the most part, you're just going to just peeve people off because you put them off curve, but not take them out of the game. Not to mention, you're also going to be ripping yourself mostly out of the game with Armageddon. It's an annoying card to play against, but actually just not that good. Next up, we've got John with Doomsday. I could have a lot of words to say about this. This is like a combo deck with a bunch of other weird extra steps. This is a combo deck that's voluntarily giving 1 more turn to the opponent. This is 3 mana sorcery. Basically, remove your entire deck from the game and then stack 5 cards in whatever order you want from exile and also from the graveyard. But the problem is you have to pass the turn after you've Doomsdayed, and that gives your opponent the entire opportunity to either interact with your deck or just try to beat you on the spot. A lot of other combo decks, when they try to win, they're gonna win. Doomsday usually taps themselves out to do this, or if they really want to give themselves the opportunity to Doomsday plus try to combo off on the same turn, well, then they're gonna have to wait for it. So anyway, I think Doomsday, it's a slightly fragile combo for a reason. So I do not think it is as good as the other combo decks. Next up, we've got Jeskai Control with Time Walk. I have a great answer to Time Walk. Time Walk is a 2-mana sorcery. Take an extra turn after this one. Where are you going to play this card? Like where? Show me where you want to play this card. What, Vintage? Is that where you're going to go? You're going to spend like what, $3,000 as a one-of in a format you barely can play. You could play Vintage online for like pennies. It's like super cheap. If you buy a Time Walk, you're literally going to just put it in a binder, stare at it. It'll do absolutely nothing. That's why it's bad. It's one of the worst investments to playability in Magic the Gathering. It's like there's like nowhere to play this thing unless you make your own cube, which in that case, you didn't even need the real one. Moving on, we've got Griffiano with my favorite of mine recently, Random Encounter. Random Encounter is a 6-mana sorcery. Shuffle your library, then mill 4 cards. Put each creature card milled this way onto the battlefield. They gain haste. At the beginning of the next end step, return those creatures to their owner's hand. Flash back for 8. This is really fancy, but like, mill 4 cards. But what if you don't hit those creatures? What if this card doesn't resolve? But let's say it even does resolve. It's just a slot machine. You're just gambling for the win, and it's incredibly unreliable. You could literally just burn 6 mana and then an additional 8 mana and get nothing. So I'm assuming more than 50% of the time you're not going to get the outcome that you really want to get out of this card. Ooh, and speaking about not getting the outcome you want, Collected Company. Yeah, so if you mill 4 lands, you SOB and cry. That's right. Okay, Collected Company is a 4-mana instant. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. Put up to 2 creature cards with convert mana cost 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. The main problem with Collected Company is you got to fill your deck with creatures. Like, it needs at least 28, but ideally 32, or even on the 34 range, to get a good value Collected Company if you want to get any value. But if you're like all in on creatures, that means you don't have enough spells to defend yourself versus combo. Like you just can't interact. Like you really have to hope all those creatures are going to work. Oh, by the way, usually to get to that 4 mana of Collected Company, you want to put some mana dorks in there, and half the time you get like a mana dork when you play a Collected Company, which is a super feel bad. Collected Company, unfortunately, super pushed out of the game. Barely sees play these days for all those reasons. You have to interact with the board, and creatures, just having creatures that are 3 mana or less is not going to do it. Big restriction on this card. DMADs with Baron von Court. Sorry, Von Count. We're counting it up here. Funny. Oh, sorry, silver border card. You can have silver border cards if you gotta donate for them. That's the rule. Oh, sorry, we have a donation. Meme Baruli. What do we have? Seems easy, but Dream Halls. So you're giving, it's your personal favorite. So you're already telling me that it's bad, Meme Bruley. You're already selling it to me that it's bad. 5 mana enchantment. Rather than pay the mana cost for a spell, its controller may discard a card that shares a color with that spell. So it's like bad show and tell. It's like show and pay. It's show and pay. You know what? You could have played show and tell for 3 mana and just win on the spot right there. But this is 5 mana, which may not. You know, in the formats where this is good, there's usually a lot more aggressive stuff. I mean, this card is so slow, a Doomsday deck can beat it. That's a shot at Doomsday out over there. But outside of that, yeah, discarding a card every single time you need to put something in play. It doesn't even cheat it in play. Or does it? Rather than pay the mana cost for a spell, its controller may discard a card that shares. Yeah, well, so I'm not even actually getting the card in play yet. First, I have to get this thing to resolve. That's step 1. Then I have to discard a card that shares the color of the card that I want to play. And then it just cast. And my opponent still can interact with it. That's super jank. Super jank. Oh, here's an easy one. Kana with Underground Sea. You look like a show-off if you have this in your deck. Big-time show-off. There's a million other lands that don't cost like $800. Where's the original one? Now, outside of that, these days, non-basic lands aren't safe. They're not even any good. Basic lands are the way. What's it called? Was it Vistra? I can't remember that. The fetch land that only searches out basics is one of the more popular fetch lands these days because you got to protect yourself versus Bloodboon versus Harbinger of the Seas. The basic lands are basically the new Moxen, and this is vulnerable to everything else, whether it be Wasteland, Blood Moon, and so on. So Underground Sea, slightly overrated. And a lot of decks a lot of formats where you play this thing. I mean, you're going to lose in a few turns anyway. Just get the basic lands out. Next up, we've got Nightingale Seraph with Stifle. I used to love this card before it became poor. We have a blue instant, counter target activated or triggered ability. One of its best things that you could do with this card was hit the fetch lands. Now it's just a little bit slow for doing that. Or the utility of trying to nail somebody's fetch land is just like, it's just not what it used to be. But that was its like main selling point in Legacy, to stifle people's fetch lands. And now like a lot of people don't even care. It's okay. It's just like it's mostly a soft counter, and it never really hard counters anything. Like the best thing you could possibly hit is like an evoke elemental, but that's like a best case scenario, and that's assuming they don't blink it or consign to memory their own trigger or so on. So it's like a soft counter when it's good, and it's just a bad counter when it's bad. Next up, we've got Dinglebag with, what is this? Wan Shi Tong, the Librarian. The real question, was this ever any good? Blue X for a 1/1 bird spirit, flash, flying, vigilance. When When Shitong enters, put X +1/+1 counters on him, then draw half X cards rounded down. So is this just a crappy Mind Spring? Whenever an opponent searches their library, put a +1/+1 counter on one Shitong and draw a card. That's not bad, but if I wanted to draw a billion, like, I don't have to draw half the cards. I can draw all the cards with Mind Spring Murph. I can draw all the cards with a Stroke of Genius. I can draw all the cards with actual Mind Spring. And then if you put this out on the battlefield first, then you, hoping to get like the last half of this, it's vulnerable to removal. I guess you don't need to make this your commander. If you make it your commander, you're pigeonholing you're pigeonholing, no pun intended, into mono blue. Otherwise, very awkward mana if you go multicolored. Next up, we want Tinker. Benjamin Berkey with Tinker. You know what's the Tinker's biggest problem these days? Like, what are you gonna tinker? Bolus's Citadel? There's actually not a whole lot of things that are good to tinker out these days. Like, I've had streams like, what's the best way to break Tinker? And there isn't really any good one. In my opinion, Tinker is a bit overrated. You look at it in pre-modern, it barely sees play. Like, it's a card in pre-modern, but it's not broken or anything because there's nothing broken to get. I don't think there is a single artifact in the game that says you win the game when it hits the battlefield. And therefore, you know, Tinker probably could be taken off some ban lists, maybe even in Commander. What did they tinker at the time? Exactly! Yeah, Bing, you got it. What did they tinker? You know what? They were so afraid of the Tinker in the past that they banned it before we could even see its true power, which it wouldn't have as much power these days anyway. You weren't around for PT Tinker to not know the hell it reeks. Oh, I mean, Tinker, you mean, like, Pro Tour Tinker, it was great way back then. But like, the Magic the Gathering is so much. What is Tinker going to do in the face of, like, a Collector Oof, for example? A lot of the Tinker targets get shut off. Even if they get, like, what's it called? Blightsteel Colossus. I don't even think that's a big deal. If Blightsteel Colossus was such a big deal, then it would, like, win the game on, like, people would be building show and tell decks off of that card. But it's really not that big. Just chump block the damn thing. That person's completely open. Tinker trash because you need an artifact. Exactly. You also need that artifact. Well, usually you'll just sack your, like, Soul Ring. No big deal. Okay, Toilet Duck. Next up we have Esper Terra. Esper Terra is a 2-mana instant. Draw 2, then discard a card. One. This is not your card. Esper Terra. Do I got the... Oh, there we go. Oh, you want the transform... Well, this is a 2-sided card. 3 mana for a 4/2. When it enters, mill 5 cards. Put up to 1 enchantment card milled this way into your hand. Ooh, but not on the battlefield. Trance. We have 6 mana. Tap, exile Terra, then return it to the battlefield. Transformed under its owner's control. Activate only as a sorcery. Okay, so let me get this straight. First, you have to get this in play. It needs to survive all the removal. I mean, it can die to a freaking shock, for crying out loud. Shock, Pyroclasm, 2 toughness is, like, worthless. 2 toughness is the new 1 toughness in 2025. And 6 mana to tap at sorcery speed. They could, like, wait until your upkeep to kill this to really crush your soul. And then even if we do flip it, what do we get? We create a token that's a copy of target non-legendary enchantment you control. So no, we can't steal our opponent's stuff. It gains haste. If it's a saga, put up to 3 lore counters. You have to keep copying your own stuff. And what if there's no stuff to copy? There's so many ways this card goes wrong. It's terrible. Super, super terrible. Flametongue Kavu. Flametongue Kavu is bad for the same reasons it's always been bad. Oh, I hate these new arts. I want an old art. There we go. Here's an old art. The problem with the main problem with Flametongue Kavu is what if you're up against a combo or control deck? Then when Flametongue Kavu enters the battlefield, deals 4 damage to target creature, which means itself. It has to shoot itself. It has no choice. The honor of the Flametongue Kavu. It will spit that fireball in the sky and wait for it to fall back down on its head, and then basically commit Sudoku. Anyway, this is a Sudoku machine. Yeah, it commits Sudoku. Used to be, well, Flame Tongue Kavu is great very situationally when there is a guarantee of other creatures on the battlefield and they have 4 toughness or less. Next up, we've got D-Mads, Root, Path, Purifier. This is a 4-mana, 3/4 Elf Druid. Lands you control and land cards in your library are basic. So the only thing I could imagine this is good for is if you're playing a bunch of lame cards in your deck that are supposed to search out basic lands, which in my opinion, you've completely diluted your deck of anything good or useful. Next up, we've got, ooh, this is a great one. Leon with Mental Misstep. Mental Misstep, a Phyrexian mana, instant. Counter target spell with convert mana cost 1. So the problem with Mental Misstep is everyone else is allowed to play with Mental Misstep. That's the crux of Mental Misstep. So you play Mental Misstep, they'll Mental Misstep your Mental Misstep. And as the saying goes, when everyone is super, nobody is. Next, we got Corbinek with Nexus of Fate. This was a super annoying card in Standard, but I mean, it did not test the time outside of that environment. 7 mana instant, take an extra turn after this one. If Nexus of Fate would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, reveal Nexus of Fate and shuffle it into its owner's library instead. It's funny, it is banned in Historic and Brawl, but basically because like people are being people are being nasty with Nexus of Fate. It's not like it's actually that good. Remember, it's still a 7 mana Time Walk, and your deck is very lame in deck construction. So anyway, Nexus of Fate. There's better things you can do. There's better Time Walks. In a very slow environment, Nexus of Fate works. Otherwise, it doesn't. Oh boy, Arena of Glory. Arena of Glory. Arena of Glory enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a mountain. Tap to add a red, pay a red, tap, exert Arena of Glory, add double red. So it's basically filtering the mana because not filtering. You're getting the red anyway. If that mana is spent on a creature spell, it gains haste until end of turn. It's okay. It's okay. The main problem is you're trying to speed up, but at the same time you're going to slow yourself down because this thing enters the battlefield tapped. So it reduces the amount of non-basic utility lands that you can play in your deck, because if you play too many, Arena of Glory is just like a clunky mountain. And like, why are you playing this card to speed yourself up when actually it's slowing you down? So the only way you can make use of Arena of Glory is if you have a lot of mountains and you just don't have many good utility lands. But then that means you've watered your deck down. This is like the best of a worse situation for your deck. Arena of Glory hole is your plan, bro. We got Ozone is lucky with Burnt Out. What is this? Okay. Burnt Out Bastronaut. What the hell is this? Oh, it's an Ether Drift card. We have for a red, it's a 1/1 Goblin Warrior with Menace. Start your engines. Then for 2 mana, this creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. That is a really bad rate for buffing up your creature. Max speed, this creature has double strike. Good luck with the double strike. Okay, so what, you speed up every single time you can hit your opponent? It starts at 1. It increases once on each of your turns when an opponent loses life. If you are a red deck and you have not killed your opponent by the 4th time you've hit them, then I don't know what your deck was supposed to do, because it's pointless to get double strike after that. This is like a big win more card. Next up, we got super chats from Bryce. Simeon Spirit Guide. Simeon Spites Guide. Simeon Spirit Guide, 3 mana 2/2. Ape Spirit. Remove Simeon Spirit Guide in your hand from the game. Add a red to your mana pool. I would say the biggest problem is no deck wants to play this except for a very powerful, fast combo deck. But every single one of those combo decks get banned, and then you have no place to play this card anymore. So GG to your Simeon Spirit Guides. And a lot of people that own them can attest to it. It is just rotting in their binder right now, doing absolutely nothing. The combos are usually too powerful. But Simeon Spirit Guide is not very versatile outside of those situations. Hexenart with Kratos, God of War. We have a triple red 2/3 God Warrior with double strike. All creatures have haste. That's pretty neat. At the beginning of each player's end step, I think, is it Kratos? Kratos deals damage to that player equal to the number of creatures that player controls that didn't attack this turn. Wow, the easiest card to play around, right? We have each player's end step. It's going to deal damage equal to the number of creatures that didn't attack. Well, just attack. Then what? What are you going to do? You spent 3 red on a 2/1. And you gave my creatures haste. Thank you very much. It sounds like a card that's going to backfire on you. And by the way, if this card is a problem, why won't they attack you? Why won't everybody attack you? Don't mind if I do. Thanks for the hasty, what's it called? Blink Moth Nexus. Okay, we have Fan Factor Podcast with Earthbending Students. This is a 3-mana 1/3 human warrior ally. When the creature enters Earthbend 2, and then land creatures you control have vigilance. I think all the Earthbending cards are somewhat dubious because it leaves them open to getting swept up in a sweeper. Now I understand the land doesn't die, but it still comes back tapped. You can interact with that land at any moment to maybe. So the land can be interacted with by removal, making your mana more clunky. And I don't think the fact that they have vigilance is gonna do you any favors. Okay, sure, attack. I'll block the damn thing. I hate that stupid exponential growth. Is that a card? Ouroboros. Let's look at Ouroboros. This thing? Okay, there we go. Okay, we have a 4-mana 1/3 plant worm. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put X +1/+1 counters on each creature you control where X is this creature's power. Okay, what if it dies in response? What about that? It's a 1/3 in general. So it's like the crappiest of all lords I've ever seen. This only works if your opponent isn't playing with any interaction. Like everyone's playing solitaire against each other. And in that world, a lot of other stuff can win. Even a Doomsday deck. Even Doomsday can win in that environment. Next up, we've got Jackal with Vampiric Tutor. Black Instant. Search your library for a card, then shuffle and put that card on top. You lose 2 life. Yeah, I'm sorry, top of what? On top of your hand? No, on top of your deck. At that point, people can interact with your deck in many different ways. Either milling you, they could play Surgical Extraction on your graveyard and force you to search your library. There's a lot of ways that can backfire from Vampiric Tutor, and you lost 2 life from it. That is like a noob mistake. There are people that literally play cards like Shock to reduce your life total down, and you're actually helping them willingly. Next. If he dies in response, everything still gets the buff. The beginning of combat on your turn, put X +1/+1 counters on each creature control where X. No, okay. Well, you can respond before the beginning of combat. So you'd never go to combat, by the way. So you would go to, like, they'll be like, okay, can I go to my combat step? No, hold up right there, partner. I'm just going to blow it up. Nice combat step you got there, Ouroboros. Nice combat step. So very easy to play around. We done Black Lotus? We can in a minute. This is bad for the same reason that Time Walk is bad. It is probably the worst value to playability that there is in the game. You literally spend tens of thousands of dollars on this card, and you might have 1 tournament you can play in all year. I mean 3 if you go to all the Eternal Weekends around the world. 1 in America, 1 in Europe, and 1 in Japan. Which in that case, you're probably going to be spending upwards to a few Power 9 in order to do all your traveling. Maybe even pay for it. You might be spending as much as a Black Lotus to do all that traveling and playing in all those events. Yeah, it's like one of the worst cards you could buy because it has like no playability. You just spend tens of thousands of dollars on a card that you can just stare at all day. Next up, we've got Aeoli Washington, Teferi's Protection. 3 mana, instant until your next turn. Your life total can't change, and you gain protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out. Exile Teferi's Protection. My biggest problem with Teferi's Protection, it's not an offensive card. It's pure defense. So if you have too many of these cards in your deck, not to mention, like, you might be like, okay, you gain protection for everything, all your permanents phase out. What if you need to interact? What if somebody is going off for the win and you have the interaction in your hand, but you can't play it because you phased out all your lands? I think it's too defensive. I think it's a big mistake to take yourself out of the game. Super, super big mistake. It didn't specify anywhere your opponents can't win the game. Your life total can't change, but it's not like someone can't play Thassa's Oracle for victory. So you're going to really hamstring yourself by playing this. Yeah, the doesn't stop poison death either. Look at that. Doesn't even stop poison. In 2025, this phrase protection is completely phased out. Okay, Adeptus, Space Marine Devastator. Okay, we have a 4-mana 3/3 Astartes Warrior with Squad 2, which is very clunky. So we're paying 6 mana to just have 2 copies out. Grave Ganon, when Space Marine Devastator enters the battlefield, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment. Wow, this is the worst disenchant I've ever seen in my life. This is not worth it at all. So wait, you're going to spend maybe 6 to 8 mana to destroy everyone's soul rings or something? Leon says it doesn't stop the heat death of the universe. Well, nothing does. Next up, let's take a look at John, Contract from Below. Well, the biggest problem with Contract from Below is it's just straight up illegal. No anti-cards allowed. Chains of Mephistopheles. Well, the thing with Chains of Mephistopheles is it's just a bad version of Bowmasters these days and way harder to understand. 2-mana enchantment. If a player would draw a card except the first one that they draw on their draw on each of their draw steps, that player discards a card instead. If the player discards a card this way, they draw a card. If the player doesn't discard a card this way, they put the card on top of their library into the graveyard. So there's just a lot of better cards that will punish you for drawing extra cards for the turn, specifically Bowmasters. This is not a permanent, but so like this can prevent people from cheating on drawing too many cards, but it's not interacting with the battlefield at all. So you could play this on turn 2 and get basically run over by people who are committing to the board. Whereas Bowmasters legitimately will put card draw into check, but also puts a body on the board and interacts with everybody. So Chains, like, it had its time in the sun, but the sun is set on this card now. You like Sunforger, Christopher B? I always wonder, like, what formats do you play? Because you, like, know every card in Magic the Gathering. 3-mana equipment. Equipped creature gets +4/+0. And for 2 mana, you can unattach it. Search your library for a red or white instant card with convert mana cost 4 or less and cast that card without paying its mana cost, then shuffle your library. This is, like, one of the clunkiest equipment I've ever seen. I mean, it's not cheaper than most equipment, except the equip cost is higher. So you pay 3, equip for 3, and you still have to pay mana to unequip it. So in between destroying the creature as you're equipping it or destroying the creature while it's equipped, I don't see how you're getting away with this. You basically need some sort of moat around you that says people cannot be playing spells while you're dancing around with this whole thing. Next up, we are going to thank our sponsor, FusionGamingOnline.com, my favorite place to buy my Magic the Gathering cards. Sealed product or singles. Deal of the week this week. 15% off all Murders at Karlov Manor singles. But those are not the only singles that are up for grabs. You can get anything between Avatar: The Last Airbender, Marvel Spider-Man, Edge of Eternities, and Final Fantasy. Not to mention, like, I mean, they've got, like, cards from the entire universe of Magic the Gathering in stock. And also, you don't have to wait for a 15% discount on everything when you can get 5% off using coupon code Nikachu at checkout. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. Play any deck, any format you want. They add fan-made formats. They just added pre-modern. So pre-modern, for anyone who's a huge fan of pre-modern, that's almost like a semi-official format now on Magic Online. And you could support the channel by renting using coupon code Nikachu_JUP to get 40% cash back on your 3rd month subscription. Rent any decks, all play all formats at Mana Traders. Okay, let's get back to business. Roastinium cards. Okay, we have a super chat. Black Lance Geo. What do you got for us today? Draneth Magistrate. This might peeve some people off in Commander, but for the most part, like, this card's super overrated. It's just a 2-mana 1/3. Your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. Well, here's the biggest problem. Most of the cards people have to play are coming from their hands. So it's like not interacting with the very thing that every player is the most abundant of. And it's got like no defense. It's not like it's a 1/4 or anything. It's just a 1/3. It can't attack and it can't defend itself. Where's the hexproof? It's not like people are playing Flame Tongue Kavu from the command zone. This has more, I think this has more emotional damage than actual damage. So when you play a Draneth Magistrate, you know, people will feel it. They'll take it personally, but I mean, people who are in the know that Draneth Magistrate is horribly overrated. The saying are, if your deck are nothing without your commander, you don't deserve it. That's right. That's a deck building error. If your whole deck depends around your commander, build your deck better. Strip Mine. My deck, I barely play my commander. With Strip Mine, we have a land. Tap to add 1 to your mana pool. Tap, sacrifice Strip Mine, destroy target land. I think this is horrible in Commander. If it's a one-on-one game, this is pretty good. But in Commander, you're basically saying, okay, I'm going to tempo myself out to tempo you out. But then we're letting the other 2 people get a lead. So this is a very, very poor card. It is aged very badly in the age of Commander. Next up, we've got... I want my deck to revolve around using my commander one time and completely forgetting about it. Okay, we got our one shot there. Gran. With the new card. Wow, it's hard to find Gran. Hold on. Do I have to put the dash? I did. I put the dash. It worked. This is a 1 blue 1/2 human peasant ally, legendary. Funny enough, whenever Gran becomes tapped, draw a card and discard a card. Oh my God, it's 1-mana Merfolk Looter. Non-creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast as long as there are 3 or more lesson cards in your graveyard. Problem is, lesson cards suck. Like, they're mostly just terrible. And the only reason people are playing Gran is so that it combos off with that new Ancestral Recall. I can't remember what it was called. Something Wisdom. But that Wisdom card is nothing without Gran, and Gran is nothing without that Wisdom card. And both the cards are super, super weak and only works in an environment where it's basically standard and all the removal sucks. Granny just won a Pro World Tour. Was it Granny or was it Ancestral Recall? I would argue that Gran combined with anything else, and really not that good. Not very impressive. Oh, you want to loot? All right, come at me, bro. Or sis, I guess, in this case. Don't bolt the Granny. You got to bolt Granny. Bolt her over. Okay, Mappius, Heir Apparent. Everyone's just mentioning a bunch of standard cards. 2-mana 2/2. When this creature enters, create a number of 1/1 white rabbit creature tokens equal to the number of other creatures you control named Heir Apparent. A deck can have any number of cards named Heir Apparent. Okay, fill your deck with these cards. I don't think anyone's going to care. Absolutely. It's just a bunch of grizzly bears. It's literally just a bunch of grizzly bears. There are better token strategies out there than a Heir Apparent strategy. Literally no interaction at all. Literally nothing. There's not even a clear way to win the game. What, are you gonna go wide with these rabbits? Okay, next up, we're going to get was it Gustav Ferric Moland with Ice Cauldron. Can you explain to me when this card was ever good? Was there ever a time it was good? It's like X tab, you may exile a non-land card from your hand. You may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled. Put a charge counter on this artifact and note the type and amount of mana spent to activate the cost, blah, blah, blah. Tap, remove a charge counter from this artifact. Add this artifact's last noted type and amount of mana. Spend this mana only to cast the last card exiled with this artifact. Okay, so you exile a non-land card from your hand. What happens when they blow up the Ice Cauldron? You know what happens? You lose both cards. That was just genius. Genius! You walked right into that 2-for-1. Was completely face up, too. I'm not even sure Nikachu would look at Yu-Gi-Oh cards if someone were to super chat. No, I don't even know where to find one. What, am I supposed to use Google or something? Random Mage with Mind Over Matter. I love this card, but it only works with other jank cards. Like, it's super expensive at 6 mana. It only works with other really super expensive cards at like 5 or 6 mana. Like, what is it? Arcanus the Omnipotent? That's like 1,000,000 mana. Plus, it has also Summoning Sickness. It combos with like Azusa, but Azusa is also super clunky and fragile. Anyway, so Mind Over Matter, super cool combo, but only when our opponents are completely defenseless. Other than that, it's like it's pretty janky. Super fair. Felicia with Badger Mole Cub. Two mana for a 2/2. When it enters Earthbend 1, whenever you tap a creature for mana, add an additional green. That seems okay, but I don't know why this is supposed to be so great. Is it really supposed to be that broken? It's literally just a grizzly bear. The land doesn't even come. It doesn't even get untapped. It doesn't even get untapped. Big deal. Just kill this thing. And then there's just a creature in play. That's about it. There's no defense to this card. It's not even any offense. It's bad because it costs over 60 bucks. I know, you're going to spend 60 bucks to find out that you bought an overglorified grizzly bear. I don't even know if it's even the best mana producer out there. Because it can only buff up your mana dorks, which aren't even that good in 2025. These days, like how many? You're gonna have some mana dorks, but where you're gonna like build your whole deck around them? No, you're not. Leon says, turn all the mana dorks into a soul ring. How about this? Just play soul rings. Play treasure generators. Mana dorks are hard to keep alive. They're the most vulnerable. You just ramp regular lands. Next up, we've got... Who has no card yet? Don't know if Toilet Duck got a card yet. The Eternal Wanderer. Oh, 6 mana for a 5 loyalty Planeswalker. With no name! Is it still the no name, the Wanderer? I thought this was an Emperor or something. No more than one creature can attack the Eternal Wanderer each combat. +1. Exile up to one target artifact or creature. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of that player's next end step. This is like, so it's just a blinking card. 0. Create a 2/2 white samurai creature token with double strike. Big deal. 6 mana for a double striker. You think about that. And then -4. For each player, choose a creature that player controls. Each player sacrifices all creatures they control not chosen this way. For each player, choose a creature that player controls. Each player sacks all creatures they control not chosen. Oh, that's interesting. So it's basically a board wipe, but it doesn't board wipe everything. It's like farewell. It's like crappy farewell. But here's the thing, instead of playing crappy farewell, just play farewell. There's no way it survives after you play the farewell target. And I don't think it survives if you go +1 or 0 either. You gonna build your deck around mana dorks? Bro, never heard of Raga Draga. I have no idea what that is. No idea. A Blackbird. Breach the Multiverse. Sounds like a clunker. At 7 mana it is. Sorcery, each player mills 10 cards. For each player, choose a creature or planeswalker card in that player's graveyard. Put those cards onto the battlefield under your control. Then each creature you control becomes a Phyrex in addition to its other types. So there's a few problems with this. The first problem is it's 7 mana, so I don't even think it's relevant at that point of the game. Second, you may not reveal any relevant creatures. You might just be stealing a mana dork from people. It's only 10 cards. There's a lot of garbage in those 10 cards. If you're up against a spell-based deck, they may not even have any creatures at all for you to go get. So I think there's a lot of flaws to your Breach the Multiverse. And I'm always kind of like, at this point of the game, doesn't anyone just have a counter spell? Little MX Doom! Raga Draga. Oh, is this an actual card? Raga Draga. The Gorguts boss. So this is a 4 mana 4/4 human boar. Each creature you control with mana ability gets +2/+2. Oh, so like the mana dorks get bigger. Whenever a creature you control with a mana ability attacks, untap it. Oh, so Vigilance. And whenever you cast a spell, if at least 7 mana was spent to cast it, untap target creature gets +7/+7 and gains trample until end of turn. My biggest problem with this card is you have to build your deck around mana dorks. And then what if Raga Draga dies? You just have a bunch of Peasley peasants on the battlefield doing nothing for absolutely nothing. Super high risk, no reward. Lesthian with Bjod Inverse Sun. The inverse of the sun? I guess this is what the inverse of the sun looks like. This is a planeswalker? Is this even real? It's not even a real card. Okay, 4 mana for a 4 loyalty, +2, mill 3 cards, then return any number of cards from different universes. This is not even a real card. Not legal anywhere. Next. Oh no, I have a trillion mana. What will I do? Play more mana dorks, apparently. That's all you're going to play in this deck is more mana dorks. Ooh, Dothy Voidwalker. Dothy Voidwalker, a 2 mana 3/2 with Shadow. If a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, instead exile with a void counter on it. Tap, sacrifice this creature, choose an exiled card an opponent owns. With a void counter on it, you may play it this turn without paying its mana cost. The main problem is it's got Shadow, which sounds like a good thing until you need to block, and then it's a horrible, horrible bad thing. And yeah, that's about it. I don't have to say anything else about it. There is also another small problem is you have to play this in a super heavy black deck. It doesn't work. You can splash a little bit, but you got to be careful. Once you go to 3 colors, I mean, this card becomes stone cold worthless. I don't even think it's even that. There's another problem with it. It used to be good to exile people's like cards instead of them going to the graveyard. People don't even rely on their graveyard nearly as much as they used to anymore, though. Next we got Hollow, the Word of Command. Graveyard hate is an all-time low. It sort of looks like Dothy Void. They look the same. It's like the close-up. It's a double black instant. Look at target opponent's hand and choose a card from it. You control that player until Word of Command finishes resolving. The player plays the card if able. While doing so, the player can activate mana abilities only if they're from lands they control and only if mana they produce is spent to activate other mana abilities of lands they control and or play the card. If the chosen card is cast as a spell, you control the player while the spell is resolving. Okay, big deal. It seems like a really overglorified discard spell, if there's even anything that you can discard. What if you look at your opponent's hand, it's just a bunch of creatures. What, you want to control their creature being cast? It's like really fancy. Bro is bad, much text. And the other problem is most people don't even want to learn how this card works. They don't want to even interpret the damn thing. Okay, we got JC Mad Cat with Frantic Search. Three mana instant. Draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, untap up to 3 lands. Well, I'm sorry. Are we down on cards here? If I want to tempo, sorry, not tempo myself out, because you're not going to, you're going to untap the 3 lands, but you're going to be, it's card disadvantage. Card disadvantage in 2025, big mistake. You need every single card you can possibly get. And there's a lot of natural graveyard hate out there too. Look, there's random people out there that play Dothy Voidwalker. Those cards aren't even going to go in the graveyard, just going to walk right into that card. Okay, next up, we've got Mega Mika with Lion's Eye Diamond. Very, very narrow card. Lion's Eye Diamond, 0 artifact. Sacrifice Lion's Eye Diamond, discard your hand, add 3 mana of any one color to your mana pool. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast an instant. The only thing this is good for is playing cards from the graveyard. You are not allowed to, like, declare casting a spell and then sacking Lion's Eye Diamond in response to pay for it, which is just stupid. So it's like I don't know, it's a Black Lotus for the dark side, but that Black Lotus just isn't good enough. There are very few decks that are even remotely interested in Lion's Eye Diamond, and it's so vulnerable to, like, Null Rod to Chalice on 0 to Collector Oof. Very, very poorly positioned today. Next up, we got a super chat from Little MX Jim. Thank you so much for your super chat. We did this one. We did this one, Little MX Doom. It's a terrible Mind Spring. Okay, we're gonna have to donate that one, Little MX Doom. Sorry about that. We've got Demonic Tutor, Secret Lair. I think we did Demonic. Did we do Demonic Tutor? Oh no, we did Vampiric Tutor. Okay, we'll give you Demonic Tutor. 2-mana sorcery, search your library for a card, put that card into your hand, then shuffle. But the very act of tutoring something from your deck is just basically taxing it for 2 mana. Do you really want to pay an extra 2 mana for all your spells? Well, that's what you're doing when you're playing Demonic Tutor. I mean, think about it. If you get any card, let's say you get a 1 mana card, you basically paid 3 mana for it because you had to pay the 2 mana up front. Now, there are additional costs to that as well. You may be tapping yourself out on turn 2 when you're playing Demonic Tutor, or you're going to be tapping yourself down by some degree for whatever card that you're looking for, giving your opponent more room to play around whatever card you're getting, or just to take advantage if you tap out completely. Just draw the card. You just need to play enough similar cards that the deck feels consistent anyway. Tutors, especially once you get to 2 mana, I mean, you're just taxing yourself for nothing. Absolutely nothing. Next up, let's take a look at... I would pay 2 more mana for any card. What is it, all 0 mana? Little MX Doom? Did we get all the no card yet people? I think we got all the no card yet people. Now we'll go to no 2 cards yet. Hexenart, the walls of Ba Sing Se. This is 8 mana. This is terrible. 0/30 defender. Other permanents you control have indestructible. That's great. You can just imagine your creatures so indestructible while staring at this card in your hand. Even if you get this on the battlefield, it's not like indestructible creatures automatically mean you win the game. It's very far from it. They can exile the cards. They can bounce them all to your hand. They can still win the game through anything else. They can trample over your creatures. There are creatures out there you can't even block. What is even the point? Okay, next we've got Mappius with Monstrous Rage. It's a funny card, actually. Black instant. Target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Create a monster roll token attached to it. Now, the main problem is that in response, if you kill the creature, well, you get nothing. And so in formats where the removal sort of sucks, or the removal can't beat the creatures that their people are monstrous raging, it's quite strong. But outside of that, it's quite poor. You can always play in response. Old boy wants Null Rod. Null Rod, 2 mana artifact. Activated abilities of artifacts can't be activated. The only way Null Rod works is if you're playing a deck without any artifact mana ramp, which in that case, you're already admitting your deck is bad. I'm sorry. Like, there's too many good artifacts out there. Even if you're not even using artifacts as ramp, Null Rod is just putting you super far behind in the game. I can't imagine a deck that's not playing any useful artifacts. Let's just put it that way. Next up. Oh, Lil MX Doom. Again with this. You're very generous today, Lil MX Doom. Did we do this one? I don't think so, actually. Knights Blessed. Y'shtola. The Cat Girl. Cat Warlock, specifically. 4 mana for a 2/4 with Vigilance. At the beginning of each end step, if a player lost 4 or more life this turn, you draw a card. Well, the problem is they have to lose 4 or more life. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater, Y'shtola deals 2 damage to each opponent, and you gain 2 life. But a player has to. So you have to consistently be playing 2 or more. You have to be playing 2 or more cards a turn. Otherwise, this card is worthless. What if somebody plays, what's it called? Arcane Laboratory. Then what are you going to do? Already one card that completely shuts this deck off. So any Arcane Laboratory effects on the battlefield kill this deck completely. Maybe not completely. You still gain a little bit of life, but you're not going to get the card draw, and you're not going to be happy about your decision. Next up, we've got... Okay, we have some no new card yet, people. Omniscience, if done, shall... No, we haven't done Omniscience. Biggest problem with Omniscience is, like, how did you get it in play? How did that happen, Pedgeman? The Tooth Fairy help you cast it? For 10 mana, you may cast spells from your hand without paying their mana cost. My usual thing about Omniscience is if you can cast this card, you can just cast those cards anyway. I think the biggest crime for any player is they got this Omniscience in play and they got nothing to play because the card in their deck that should have been the card played on the battlefield was the Omniscience. And this card can't win the game by itself. It requires other cards to do it. All right, next up. We got a super chat from Fledermoose. Counterbalance. Well, Counterbalance is a bit of a slot machine. It's a 2-mana enchantment. Whenever an opponent plays a spell, you may reveal the top card of your library. If you do, counter that spell if it has the same converted mana cost as a revealed card. Even if you had, say, what's it called? Sensei's Divining Top. Are you going to have your entire curve on the top 3 cards of your deck? No. Like, the 5 mana stuff, the 6 mana stuff, the 7 mana stuff, you're probably going to have a land on top of your deck. So the range of stuff that can get through the counterbalance is huge. Not to mention there's a bunch of uncounterable stuff out there, which even if you had the mana value on top of your deck, isn't even going to stop it. So it's just like a really janky soft counter. Is not going to stop your death. That is for certain. Oh, we got Daigo Shiak with Sigarda's Aid. At least this card's cheap. It's a 1-mana enchantment. You may cast aura and equipment spells as though they had flash. Whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach it to target creature you control. Problem with this card is all the equipment suck. I think the only deck that this goes in is like the Hammer Time deck, and that deck doesn't even see any play right now. So it's like a fine card. It's like the best card you can use in an Aura and Equipment deck, but all the Aura and Equipment deck are just way too weak to be competitive. That's the issue. But it's a very popular card because people just love their auras and they love their equipment. Next, we've got the Big Skawig. Oh, Pedgeman has something to say about Omniscience decks. Are either a real problem for a meta or not a problem at all. That's right. And when they're not a problem at all, the Omniscience player has a problem. Fable. Oh, Fable of the Mirror Breaker. It's a popular card, that's for sure. It's a good value card. 3 mana for a Saga. Chapter 1. Create a 2/2 red goblin. shaman creature token with whenever this creature attacks, create a treasure token. Chapter 2, you can discard 2 cards, draw that many cards, and then you can exile it and turn it into like a mini Kiki Jiki. So this card fails miserably when it's up against a combo deck. A very, very, very poor interaction. Okay, go make as many treasures as you make as many dwarves as you want. I'm gonna combo off before you combo, even if you have a combo, which you don't have a combo usually. Usually it's just like a really it's a real jank. How do I put it? Like it's like a jank soft combo. It combos with itself, sort of, if the games go long enough. So like Fable of the Mirror Breaker is fantastic if the game goes long. If the game goes short, well, the mirror, your entire game is broken. We done Ancestral Recall? No, we didn't actually. Plutoski. So this goes in the camp with Black Lotus and Time Walk. You're spending a lot of money, like your hard-earned money, on a card you can't play anywhere. Where do you want to play this card? You want to go play Vintage? Do you have a local Vintage scene? No, you don't. You don't have a local Vintage scene. Almost no one plays Vintage. This like and even when people do play Vintage, they're gonna come out with their proxies because they don't want to risk bringing out their real cards. So you have like literally 3 tournaments in the entire world where you can play this card, and you're gonna spend more money to travel to those tournaments to play your one Ancestral Recall. So it's one of those worst money to playability value. One of the worst. Next we got... Oh, Mercenary doesn't have a card. I've been here the entire time. Eternal Dragon. Yeah, that's how it works around here. You just gotta say NCY. And it means no card yet. We have for 7 mana, 5/5 Dragon Spirit, flying. For 5 mana, return Eternal Dragon from your graveyard to your hand. Activate only during your upkeep. Plane cycling for 2. This is a very clunky plane cycler. Oh, it's this card. This is that like weird control win condition. Except the control decks don't win even when they're playing it. It's okay, but you should just bet your... Like, it's just like one of the clunkier ways that you can win with a control deck. It's got like a lot of versatility, but it's just super, super expensive the way it does it. My locals does vintage proxy tournaments. Exactly. So you're never going to buy that. You're never going to buy anything. Anything in vintage. I like the Oracle text for Ancestral Recall. Force your opponents. No, that's not the Oracle text. That's the OG text. Turg with Oracle of the Oracle of the Alpha. Well, first off, this card's not very real. That's the first thing I want to say about this card. Okay, it's a 3-mana 2/3 Bird Wizard flying. When Oracle of the Alpha enters the battlefield, conjure the power 9 into your library, then shuffle. Whenever Oracle of the Alpha attacks, scry 1. I mean, I don't... Was it ever even really good on Arena? Was this actually a good card? Like, at any point? I've seen some videos from content creators where they, like, draw their entire deck. But, you know, they can play an infinite number of games before, like, their Oracle of the Alpha really goes off. Because you don't even get your power 9. It goes right into your deck. What's the point of that? When I play this card, I want the power 9 in my hand. Are you going to force me to tax myself with demonic tutors in order to get the cards that I need? The shame of this type of card. It does have an... Oh, yeah, they printed Mystery Booster. It's still not legal anywhere, including Commander, though. So it's like actual printing. Very dubious. Very dubious actual printing. Okay, Lil MX Doom with the super... Thank you so much for the super chats today. Jace, the Mind Sculptor. Poor Jace. Completely powered out of the game. Jace Mind Sculptor used to be better than all. Now it's better than nothing. 4 mana for a 3 loyalty Jace. +2 at the top. Look at the top card of your library. I mean, you Fate Seal yourself or anybody. For 0, you can Brainstorm. -1, it's an unsummon. And -12, exile old cards from target player's library. then that player shuffles their hand into their library. These days, if you play Jace and you used to be able to play Jace, brainstorm, and if your opponent swung out and killed it, that was good value, because just getting the brainstorm by itself and a little bit of fog, that was good enough. Not anymore. No, it just doesn't matter. These days, like, one creature will kill Jace, and then the other creatures will blast your face. And brainstorm for 4 mana, it's pretty weak. It has not stood up the test of time. Basically, nobody plays Jace anymore. I remember when this card was like at least $100, still $17. It's way higher than, yeah, Jace is washed. Should wash himself up. Phyrexian Dreadnought. Without Stifle, this card's worthless. It's a 1 mana 12/12 with trample, but you gotta sacrifice itself. So anyway, I would not trust playing this card. Even if you get it in play, it's still weak to it's like Blast Zone, Ratchet Bomb, Engineer Explosives on 1. Enchantment, like artifact removal. Simple Disenchant beats this card. We got Friendly Mort with Tiamat. Tiamat, big dragon. 7 mana for a 7/7 dragon god flying, and when it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, which you won't, because that's a lot of mana, search your library for up to 5 dragon cards not named Tiamat that each have different name, reveal them, and put them into your hand. Were you kidding me? So you take you have this massive clunky play. It's basically just a 7 mana 7/7 flyer, because you have nothing to show for it after that. But if your opponent makes you discard all the cards from your hand, then it basically did nothing. It had to tutor them into play. Tutoring into hand, that is pure 2015. This is 2025. When this thing enters the battlefield, to find old dragon cards from your deck and your graveyard, put them onto the battlefield. They have haste. When you attack, you have an additional combat step after this. This is so far from that, especially for 7 mana. We got Subinarch with Ornithopter. Good luck winning with this card. This is 0 mana 0/2. It's got no power. It literally does nothing. The only thing that this is good at is enabling other cards, but by itself, it's really, really bad. I remember so many games against Affinity where they would like play like a bunch of Ornithopters and Memnites, and then I would just thrash them. Just died wouldn't say died instantly, but died pretty quickly. Next up, we got Trent Sims with Dig Through Time. Dig Through Time. 8 mana for an instant with Delve. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put 2 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. It's just really clunky. It's very hard to pull off the Delve. And even if you do pull off the Delve, it's not worth that much. You know, it's funny. This card is perfectly legal in Pioneer and barely sees play in Pioneer. Barely, just barely. I'm pretty sure you can unban in Modern Legacy. It would just be fine by today's standards. You have to pay at least 2 mana to get another 2 cards. Just play Expressive Iteration. It's like more than good enough. Expressive Iteration is Dig Through Time, except all the time. Not some of the time. I'm not digging for this thing. I don't have to fuel my graveyard to pay 2 to get 2 cards. I can just pay 2 and always get 2 cards. Next up, we've got another little MX Doom super chat. Thanks so much for your super chats today. So I'll give you this one. Rip Apart. I never heard that this was good. This is a Boros card, isn't it? Was Pioneer? It's a format. It's a format where it's like Khans of Tarkir and up. Rip Apart is a red-white sorcery. It can deal... choose 1. Deal 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Pfft, can't even hit the face! What is it? It's a strictly worse Lightning Helix. You could, however, destroy target artifact or enchantment. I think this is... It's basically just a bad disenchant. Just play There's other disenchants with upside. I don't think you have to go for this one. Does anyone even know what Pioneer? What is Pioneer? Pioneer is old 1.5. I don't even know if it's that. Just play consult the stars, consult the star charts for 4 mana. That's fine too. I consider it good, to be honest. It's at sorcery speed. It is a braid, but better. I think I'd like a braid. It's at instant speed. Okay, Corey wants Zuron Orb. Zero mana, sack a land, you gain 2 life. It's funny, everyone is complaining about like land destruction this, land destruction that. Don't touch my lands. I need every mana source I can possibly get. And then some other people are like, I will sacrifice my land to gain 2 life. What sense does that make? It makes absolutely no sense. So one of the most valuable resources in the game, the land, is being exchanged for a measly 2 life. That's less than what Healing Salve can give you. So anyway, 2 thumbs down on Zuron Orb. Bell wants... We did Time Walk already. You want to do Counterspell? It's funny, as time... Counterspell was the first Counterspell. So I need a better art of Counterspell. I just can't stand this art. Okay, well, this is good enough. I'll take this one. So this is the OG art. Counterspell, blue, instant, counter target spell. So it was the first Counterspell, and now it's the last. Every other Counterspell is better than Counterspell. There's almost no world where you want to play Counterspell these days. There's like Mana Drain, Force Negation, Flare of Denial, Force of Will, Pact of Negation, Flusterstorm, and all of them do basically everything better and more effective than what actual Counterspell does. Counterspell is probably the most balanced card in all of Magic the Gathering. Used to be OP. Balanced now, but used to be OP. Okay, we have another super chat from Lil MX Doom. Lil MX Doom just... Deep pockets today. Last card. Sell... Oh, sounds like we got to the bottom of your pockets. Selvalis Stampede. For some of you just want to get your favorite cards roasted. So this is a 6 mana sorcery. Council's Dilemma. Starting with you, each player votes for wild or free. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card for each wild vote. Put those creatures onto the battlefield, then shuffle the rest into your library. You may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield for each free vote. I think the biggest danger here is your opponents get to vote for what they want, so they'll have the interaction for what you do. And I would not be surprised if the person with a farewell in their hands like, okay, do whatever you want. In fact, they'll probably... it's creature, right? So they'll let you have your creatures because they know they can wipe them all off the battlefield. Actually, if they have farewell, they might even risk letting you put cards from your hand onto the battlefield. We got Friendly Mort with Ruin Crab. Coming to ruin your day. Blue 03, Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent mills 3 cards. One of the weakest interactions in all of Magic the Gathering. Mill is it's a beloved strategy. It's a very beloved strategy. It was dragging its butt for, I would say, a good 32-ish years before it actually became, it's like playable but not tier 1. And Ruin Crab is just like the face of that playable but not great strategy. Mill does nothing until you win. Yeah, basically it does nothing. It's like nothing. And also, not to mention, filling your opponent's graveyard is not even good in 2025. Every deck utilizes the graveyard by accident in some way. So I'd be very scared about milling anybody these days. We got from M1G Platowski. We have a super chat with no card. What does that mean? Did you have one, M1 Platovsky? I'm sure you said it sometime afterwards. Or is that just... Is it a donation? Just a dono? It's just a dono. Who are we going to donate it to? Someone with no card yet. We've got Misbelief Papyrus. Mechanized production. Also looks like a duelist from the avatar. This is a 4-mana aura. Oh, it's already bad. Auras at 1 mana are bad. Auras at 4 mana are terrible. Now each enchant artifact you control. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of enchanted artifact. Then if you control 8 or more artifacts with the same name as another, oh, you win the game. Well, that's never going to happen. They sprinkled that on you to tempt you to actually win the game like that. In practice, that's not going to happen, though. People are just going to... There's a lot of ways that will go wrong. They could destroy the mechanized production. They could destroy the artifact that you enchanted. They could destroy all the artifacts. And the moment you're getting close to 8, they're just going to wail on you. So I cannot see a world where you have 8 of these things in play. Not to mention that it's very easy to interact with. Just blow up the one artifact that you controlled, and you got 2 for 1 instantaneously. It's for my clue. Oh, interesting. So you enchant a clue, and then you make more clues. You don't even depend on the mechanized production. Maybe if you put it on treasures, sounds even more interesting. We got Buzz Rickson with Soul Shatter. So once I did Stuffy Dolls and Shivan Meteor, how much damage is that one? I don't have no idea. Soul Shatter, 3 mana instant. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker with the highest converted mana cost among creatures and planeswalkers they control. So what you're telling me is it's like this really indirect removal. Oh, the one creature that's attacking me, I can't kill it. Why? Because it's not the highest it's not the highest converted mana cost of creatures that my opponents control. I don't even know how to play around this card. I'd be playing around this card by accident. Yeah, Soul Shatter is just like a very... It should cost 1 mana. It should just cost 1 mana. Even at instant speed. Looks quite bad to me. Next up, we got Fledermoose with Glacial Chasm. Oh, where is our Glacial Chasm? There it is. I think this card gets mentioned on other shows. Land, cumulative upkeep, pay 2 life. You're already killing yourself. When Glacial Chasm comes into play, sacrifice a land. That's not a good thing. Creatures you control can't attack. I imagine you're not even playing with any, which means that your deck has far fewer chances of winning the game. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to you, but does not prevent every way your opponents can win the game. So, I mean, if you're up against a hardcore combo deck, not to mention, it's just a land. Interact with it like Strip Mine, Wasteland. It's not like it's indestructible. Blood Moon, Harbinger of the Seas, Ghost Quarter. It's just a land. So you paid a bunch of life, you sacked lands, you're putting your life to a little bit closer to getting struck down. Very, very clunky. We have Lily Kazami with the good old 8 mana on turn 3 facilitator, Llanowar Druid. Oh, this card. Oh, maybe it's not what this is not what I thought it was. 2 mana for a 1/2. Tap, sacrifice Llanowar Druid, untap Old Forests. How do you get 8 mana? Is that even possible? 8 mana on turn 3? How? This was the card, right? Llanowar, unless it was like another Druid card. Untap Old Forests. Because you only sack it. So, like, what? I float 3, tap, sack it, I untap. Have 4 forests out. Oh, okay. Well, by turn 3, though? Turn 3? That's turn 4, probably. Anyway, I don't know. I mean, I believe it's possible, but a mana dork that I have to sack for 1-time use? No, that's 2 thumbs down from me. Maybe even 3 thumbs down if I can get my friends to come in and help me out. And Glacial Chasm is still a very interesting card after many decades. It is an interesting card. Okay, we're going to end on Trent Sims. Where should we end here? Hold on. You have like another... Okay, with this super chat, I should at least get to another person. All right, thanks for the super chat, by the way. White Plume Adventurer. Okay, 3 mana for a 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, untap a creature you control. If you completed a dungeon, untap all creatures you control instead. Not very impressive in Commander, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, initiative, like, big deal. In a 4-player game, people just pile on you. Beginning of each opponent's upkeep, untap a creature you control. They're just going to kill your creatures. They're going to wail on you instantaneously. Oh my god, he's got the initiative. Well, not so fast. And then other people are going to get the initiative. Okay, because of that super chat, we'll take a look at another card. We have Dr. Leg's Expressive Iteration. Expressive Iteration, the strictly better dig through time, but not necessarily a strictly better anything. So, Expressive Iteration, 2 mana sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand. Put one of them on the bottom of your library and exile one of them. You may play the exiled card this turn. So there is some truth that if you play this on turn 3 with 2 mana, if you don't find a land, then the card becomes junk because you actually only get 1 card out of the 3 because you really were depending on a land to play. That also has another downside. You basically can never play this on turn 2. It is worthless. So if you have nothing to do on turn 2 and you play this, I mean, it's not card disadvantage, but it's not card advantage because if you can't play a land, if you're tapping yourself out on turn 2, then all you can do is put a card into your hand. So for the most part, Expressive Iteration is it's an awkward play. And even if you get 2 cards out of the deal, remember, you're taxing yourself 2 mana by playing this card. Always taxing yourself. Next up, we've got a mono. We got mono. Mono Noaware. Oslet Pride. Oslet Pride is a 1 mana 1/1. Dies to everything. Like literally everything. Dies to a gut shot. You don't even need to Pyroclasm this thing. You'd be overkilling it at that point. Now, it's got First Strike, Lifelink, Ascent. It's got a lot of abilities, but it doesn't compensate for the fact that it can't even attack through a Grizzly Bear. How pathetic that a card from Alpha and Beta can stand strong versus the Oslet Pride. Goblin Gate. It's not even a good card. You have to mention cards that are considered good. This card was never considered. It's just a... This card is disqualified for being jank. Well, Fingrind. A lot of people are just showing up out of nowhere. Tabernacle of Pendrell Vale. What is going on here? Oh, it's the Tavern. Is it? Because I'm the Tabernacle of... I don't know how to spell Tabernacle? Oh, at! It's called at. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I forgot why we're ending. But everyone, like a bunch of people showed up. I want to get their cards. The Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale. Legendary land. It doesn't tap for mana! Worthless! There's like literally one deck in the world that plays this card because they don't need the mana. All creatures have at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice this creature unless you pay 1. So when you play your own creatures, you can't even barely pay for your own mana for those creatures because this card itself doesn't even tap for mana. Pathetic. Rugal with the super chat. Worldfire. Worldfire, you don't have control over your fate when you play Worldfire. Not to mention it costs 9 mana, so I don't even think you're I don't think you're playing it hardly ever. But if you do, if it does get pulled off, it doesn't necessarily mean you win the game. Sorcery, exile all permanents, exile all cards from all hands and graveyards. Each player's life total becomes 1. And I'll tell you who you're going to lose to. You're going to lose to the damn Teferi's Protection player. That's right. The player that They were holding up 3 mana the entire game. They were telegraphing it hard the entire time. And they knew you had Worldfire because you were bragging about it. Then you played the Worldfire, and then they played Teferi's Protection, then you lost. And then maybe this will be the last one. Yeah, right in time for the end of the show. Kalantara's Hymn to Turok. Yeah. If it loads, Scryfall just die all of a sudden. It's got die at the right moment. Okay, 2 mana sorcery. Target player discards 2 cards at random. So you don't even get the good cards that you want. You also will feed the graveyard for all the players that want to feed their graveyard. They'll be like, don't mind if I do. Thank you very much. You're going to feel really stupid when you're playing against the Dredge deck. There are other problems also with Hymn to Turok. They can backfire badly if someone misdirects this or diverts this back at your face. And then you're going to look really stupid. So a lot of problems with Hymn to Turok. No one plays this card anymore because feeding the opponent's graveyard is just way too dangerous. Okay, that's it. All right, now that's going to be the end of the show. That was a good show. That was a good one. I hope everyone had a lot of fun. Did you have fun? I had fun. Basically roasting everybody's favorite cards. We do the show weekdays, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. Thanks to everyone who supports the show. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or even super chat so other people can be part of the show. And of course, thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. People like Lil Deadfly. Oh boy, we got Bell and Dinglebag, Christopher B. Mappius, Mercenary, David Sampson. We got Raznab. Who else do we have? We have Dan right here. And many more. So as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing those coffees. And we're going to keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves. And I will see you at the next cup.